Hi, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kelly, and in today's video, we're doing another pick a card reading. Today, we're asking Spirit all about what they learned after losing you. All of my pick a card readings are timeless, so whenever you come upon this video, a message will be ready for you. Before we begin, please give me a big like down below and subscribe to my channel for more pick a card tarot readings just like this one. If you're new to pick a card readings, here's how it works. These are the 4 piles that you can choose from. This is pile 1 with a Hematoid quartz. This is pile 2 with a rose quartz heart. This is pile 3 with the agate moon. And this is pile 4 with a carnelian heart. I'll give you some time to start meditating on the cards and choose a pile that you feel the most drawn to. Please use your intuition when choosing your pile, and if you feel drawn to more than one pile, feel free to watch multiple piles. There may be more than one message in this video for you today. After you're done deciding, scroll down to the description box or the pinned comment and click on the timestamp to skip to your reading. Tarot is an intuitive and insightful way to read the current energies surrounding a situation. If you ever hear something you do not like in a reading, please do not give up or get discouraged. Remember that you have 100% free will over your life and you can change the course of direction at any time. My intention with these readings is to help gently guide you to a better path for your mind, heart, and soul. So never get discouraged about what you may hear because it may end up being the activation you need to change course. With that being said, I'll give you some time to start meditating on the cards. You can close your eyes and hover your hand over the screen to see if you feel any sensations on a certain pile, or you can simply meditate on the cards and choose a pile based off of your gut feeling. Hi, pile 1. If you chose the Hematoid quartz, this is going to be your reading. Let's go ahead and get started. 2 of Cups, the Chariot, wow, the 4 of Swords, 5 of Wands, Page of Wands, and the Page of Cups. So what did this person learn after losing you? Let's go ahead and get started with the Hematoid quartz actually, and why you may have been drawn to the Hematoid quartz. So the Hematoid quartz is really good for focus, vitality, and emotional clarity. So these are the things that this person may have learned after losing you. And this stone right here is also connected to Scorpio and Aries energy. So you may have Scorpio or Aries in your chart, or the person you may be thinking about or the person who lost you may have Scorpio or Aries in their chart. With that being said, the theme here for this pile with this crystal is definitely grounded clarity. After losing you, this person really found that clarity and truth after an emotional conflict. So whatever emotional conflict you guys got into, they were able to step back after losing you. Maybe you pulled your energy away, stopped talking to them, or even blocked them. Because I sense that one of you is a very fiery person with this Hematoid quartz here. They were only able to gain clarity and truth after losing you. While they were in the heat of the moment with you, they were not able to gain any clarity or control over the situation for that matter. So this crystal really represents somebody learning to stand on their 2 feet again after losing you. They are finally seeing things clearly and even rebuilding confidence after this conflict. Whatever chaos or conflict that happened between you two really shook up their world, which you can definitely see the conflict here in the 5 of Wands. The Hematoid quartz really fuses quartz amplification and hematite's grounding. So this is an amplification of grounding energy. Even though this stone is actually related to the root and solar plexus chakra, it is also a grounding stone. This really symbolizes that alchemy of pain into purpose. Unfortunately, sometimes people need to go through majorly painful things or triggering things for them to change their mindset and change their trajectory. So with this root and solar plexus activation here, it's really a combination of stability and self-worth being restored in this person's life. When you're not a self-confident person, you will go around trying to spread that energy everywhere. So this might have been the conflict between you two. Maybe you're a very confident person. Maybe you're somebody that has a lot of willpower, which you can see here in the Chariot. And this person doesn't have that in their energy, which might have caused those conflicts within you two. So this really sets the tone of how your person found that clarity through this separation. Let's go ahead and get started with the tarot cards now, with the Two of Cups right here kicking this off. This is actually Venus and Cancer energy. It's a very lovely energy. So when you guys were good, you were really good, because this is talking about unified love, partnership, and mutual attraction. So when this person lost you, they really did think about these things a lot. Whether you guys were in a romantic relationship, a friendship, or just some type of partnership, they thought that you were a really good person in their life. If we look at the imagery here, they are connected and they have their foreheads touching. So the forehead area is the third eye area. So you guys connected on a different level. You may have connected in a way that they felt like they didn't connect with other people. You may have finished each other's sentences. You may have thought similarly. You may have had many similar qualities. So with this Two of Cups, they really remember how pure the love was between you two. You were not only their equal, but you were their mirror. You were gentle to them, and you were very, very real. 444 on the clock as I say that. So now they really understand that partnership is not just that passion and chemistry. It's really that reciprocal energy and emotional maturity. So this loss really made them realize that that true union requires a mutual truth, mutual understanding. Everything in a balanced relationship is going to be mutual. So with that being said, this Two of Cups really leads them into the desire to move forward with integrity, which is the Chariot here. So they have been thinking about you. They have been thinking about how they can move this forward and maybe get this back together. Whether they are able to actually get you back into their life is all up to you. I sense that they would get a lot of satisfaction of having you back into their life. This Chariot card is Cancer energy. So we have a lot of Cancer here. This is Venus in Cancer and this is Cancer here. So that is talking about water energy in general as well. And the Chariot talks about control, willpower, success, action, determination, victory, and a journey. So they're willing to go through a journey to get you back. Once they have realized that they lost so much from losing you, and they learned that your connection was a truly mutual one, not one that is imbalanced, they realize what they truly lost, because a lot of their other relationships are imbalanced. They seem to be somebody that may give more than they take in other relationships, and with you, there was an equal amount of give and take. So with this Chariot card coming up, this is really showing me that they tried to charge ahead, pretending that they were fine. So half of you guys, I sense that they did try to fix it right away, and that's what the charge ahead is showing. But in the other half of you, I definitely sense that they actually charged away from you, pretending like they were fine, trying to move on with their life. So regardless of which situation you're on, this card really shows that their soul lesson is actually in self-control and direction. They need self-control with this relationship. So whatever conflict you had, again, we have the conflict card here. So you obviously had some type of conflict that made you leave. They're learning that they need to have self-control in those situations. They're learning that they need to quiet their voice. I don't know why I said quiet their voice, that just came out. So I'm sensing that there might have been a heated conversation here, and they're really needing to learn how to control that and even step away at times so they can recenter themselves before coming back forward. They really have learned that real victory means mastery over impulse and ego. So there may have been a lot of impulse and ego things going on here. Actually really pushes them forward into a stillness, because we have the Four of Swords next. The Four of Swords is Jupiter and Libra energy. So this is talking about rest, relaxation, meditation, contemplation, and recuperation. So whatever happened between you two that caused a heated argument and made you leave, made them go into this deep meditation and contemplation time of really wondering what went wrong here. So they withdrew from you, and silence really became their teacher. When they no longer had access to your energy, it truly illuminated to them how important your energy was, how vital your energy was for their life. They have really had to go through mental exhaustion, going through the process of reviewing the situation again and again. They are really requiring inner rest right now so they can really understand this. This is a pause that brought them emotional clarity, which is also a gift of the Hematoid Quartz. So out of that rest moment that they had came a self-reflection, but they also had inner conflict, which we see here in the Five of Wands. So the Five of Wands is Saturn in Leo energy. So there is a need to control ego here, because this is talking about conflict, disagreement, competition, tension, and diversity. The truth is, all conflict, all disagreements really stem from something of the ego. Because if you didn't actually have your ego triggered or hurt or bothered, then you wouldn't start an argument. You wouldn't start conflict. You wouldn't defend yourself. The only need to defend yourself is because you feel like something in your energy has been triggered, something in your ego has been triggered where you need to be in defense mode. And that's what happened in this relationship. That's what happened in this connection, and some time apart is beneficial for both parties. So with that being said, they really wrestled with themselves and others. This is ego, this is pride, this is comparison. So this conflict really revealed how scattered they became. It seems like this person actually spread negative energy more than just to you. This is somebody that had gone through something maybe personal within their life, and they started taking it out on everybody. So this situation really taught them the discernment of what is actually worth fighting for. Through this tension, a creative spark has returned, which we can see here in the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is earth and fire energy, and the Page of Wands talks about inspiration, ideas, discovery, limitless potential, and a free spirit. So this means when they started losing people, or when they started going within themselves and really realizing that they were full of ego or pride or even comparison, competitiveness, they realized that instead of putting that energy out into the world, it would be best served if they used that spark of curiosity within their own lives. So this is really showing that they had that piece of hope after burning themselves out. When you have this much conflict with people around you, you're going to burn yourself out. So they're starting to explore life again with a beginner's eyes, really learning that self-expression and confidence. So they lost a lot of confidence after they lost you, and they realized that they can't rely on other people such as yourself to have confidence. They need to have confidence within, but they also are learning confidence through you. You seem to be somebody that really taught them how to be confident, how to be creative. You could have also gave them inspiration or ideas on how to take the next steps in their life. With that being said, all that openness, all that new energy that they get in the Page of Wands really also leads them to the Page of Cups, which is showing that they're learning to also feel again, softer this time. So for some of the people that you have been dealing with, they have this hard exterior up where some of them ran away. Remember I said half of you, they ran towards you, trying to fix the situation right away, and half of you, they may have ran away from you, pretending like things didn't bother them at all. They're really learning how to face emotions again. This time with emotional intelligence. They don't want to repress their feelings anymore, and they may not be reaching out still, but they're hoping that they can come and meet you again and have a whole new beginning here. In summary of the tarot cards, what did they learn after losing you? This person really went through a lot emotionally, and it was a lot of pain. They felt a lot of feelings, they didn't know how to cope, and the realization that they came to by the end of this, they realized that you guys actually had a really true connection. They're really determined to keep control of their lives and try to maybe steer a new direction for this relationship. They realized that that was not working, and then they went into an emotional shutdown where they needed to meditate and contemplate this. They had ran into inner conflict when they were reviewing these things, and then after really a lot of time of inner review, they were able to re-spark their curiosity about things and even renewed curiosity about this relationship, and they were even able to soften their emotions and become more emotionally honest. So they went from this clinging energy, this confused energy, to calm and courageous. This is a person that is learning a lot from losing you, but I do sense a lot of hope on the cards. So they do hope that you guys can renew that innocence and joy in your relationship and become partners again, friends again, relationship again, whomever you guys are inquiring about. They really learned that love can't thrive without having inner truth. So by losing you, they had to face their shadows, they had to rebuild self-trust, and they even learned how to begin relating from their heart space rather than from their wounds, their ego, or their pride. Because again, you would only conflict with other people if you feel like your ego was hurt. So let's go ahead and move on to the oracle cards now. All right, so here's the next card we're getting. We're getting the pleasure card, and we have a staircase here with the arches. This is 1111, and this symbolizes duality as well. So with this pleasure card, I'm actually sensing that they really learned after losing you to stop rushing. They seem to have some type of rushing or forward energy with the Chariot here, while they were connected to you or soon after they disconnected from you. After some time to themselves and some self-review, they really started noticing the pleasure in life again, life sweetness again. It really seemed like actually a lot of the pleasure in their life went away when they lost you in the beginning, but they were learning that they couldn't rely on you only to have pleasure in their life. So they really needed to take that time and have a longer term view of their own life and becoming more self-sufficient here. With this card coming up, Spirit has really taught them that joy and pleasure is not a distraction, that it's really divine. So this is giving fifth house energy here, and the breakup really guided them to go back into that fifth house, meaning that maybe they got a lot of their pleasure, their romance from you or this relationship, a lot of their pleasure from this relationship, and when they didn't have you anymore, they had to redirect some of that energy to other pleasurable things. But in the back of their minds, I'm really sensing that a lot of their pleasure still came from their relationship with you. Nothing quite matches the pleasure that they got with you. However, they needed to become more self-sufficient and find other ways of being pleasured. The pleasure card really shows me also that they're learning to be more grateful of the times that they get to spend with you or other people that bring them pleasure while not relying or clinging too deeply to whatever brings them pleasure. Let's go ahead and move on to the next card. We're getting Bee Spirit Prosperity. So there's a number 5 here that's also very resonant here because that's also the fifth house that I was just talking about. So this is Leo energy here. I sense that you were a very bright source for them. You were very warm in their life. You had a lot of inspiration in your energy. You may have been a really creative force in their life. And with this bee spirit is really showing me that they learn to rebuild through steady effort, step by step, because bees do things in a very step-by-step manner. They work very hard on their beehives and they work in groups. So they may have been working with you. Maybe some of you, this is a work type of relationship, partnership, or even a coworker. But after losing you, they really redirected that focus towards purpose, community, even prosperity. So for some of you guys, I sense that they actually had a huge space missing in their life and they just wanted to work on literally working. They may have started working harder, working longer, trying to find alternative ways to make money, to bring more prosperity in their lives. All this prosperity that they're putting their energy into really feels earned and not taken for granted. I'm sensing that if you guys ever do speak again or talk again, get reconnected again, that they would share with you all of these things that they have learned, all of this new pleasure, maybe like they picked up some different hobbies, different jobs. They want to share those things with you, whether that's bringing you to tag along or even sharing verbally with you what brings a lot of pleasure and prosperity into their lives. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. We're getting the Weaver card. This is a very interesting card. We see the hands here. So this is a card that's really actually talking about the other energy. This is an other card. So this is talking about they realize that they're actually the master of their destiny after losing you. So if this was this person's fault, for example, and they did something to get themselves blocked, because I'm sensing some of you definitely blocked this person, they're realizing that they had weaved their own fate with this. They're finally seeing that they control their own life, the threads of their life. Karmically, this breakup was an initiation for them, really learning co-creation with destiny. Maybe they used to blame other people or situations or simply their mood for the conflict that happened between you two, but they're starting to realize like, oh, it was me, I'm the problem. So they start to now realize that they should cut cords of victimhood and weave new patterns. So I'm really sensing off the cards here that this person has really went within and started to fix themselves within, because we're getting actually positive cards after we talked about the tarot. We're getting pleasure, prosperity, and the Weaver. So this is major self-realization here. This person actually did realize things. So they're really coming back home to themselves. They put their power outside of themselves a lot when they were connected to you, but now they're really realizing that they have that agency within themselves. They don't need to put the power outside. And that would create a better relationship for the both of you, because when people put their power in other people, other situations, and rely on other people for their happiness, that's never going to cause good things in life, because you're relying too heavily on somebody else. And if this is resonating for you, I highly encourage that you go in within yourself, find your own pleasures, find your own feeling of prosperity. You will never get fulfilled by something external. I know that's a very harsh truth, and it took me quite a while to learn it myself, to be honest. But now every single thing that brings me pleasure in life has to relate back to the self. It's all about being self-sufficient here. Always relying on yourself, not putting the blame outside, not trying to put any pleasure or seeking anything external because it's never going to actually fulfill you. And this is something this person is really learning. And they're learning to really weave the life that they want and the type of relationships they want after losing you. Some of them do realize that they may never ever get to talk to you again. Some of these people cross the boundaries so hard that you're not willing to be friends with this person again or partnerships with this person again. You're not willing to have this person in your life again. For some, I just literally heard, I'm never going to see or hear you again. I don't know if that was an energy from you to them or from them to you, not sure. But some of these people realize that they fumbled the bag, essentially, that there's no reconciliation coming. But that shows them what they need to do in the future to not lose a quality person like you again. Let's go ahead and move forward. We're actually getting home. So the home card is number 18. 1 plus 8 is 9, if any of that resonates with you. And the home card says safe haven and comfort zone. So honestly, you were their comfort zone. You were their safe haven when you were together. Because if we look at this card again, it is talking about that mutual attraction, that unified love, and that partnership. So you were really a home space for them, but they kind of fumbled the bag. And after all the separation, they actually realized that love has to start within. They had to make peace inside before feeling safe with somebody else. The reason why they put all their energy into you, 333 on the clock right now, and made you their comfort zone safe haven is because they didn't have that within themselves. So they were relying on you to provide that home feeling for them. But after this separation, I do think they went through a very hard time, as we can see in the Four of Swords and the Five of Wands, but that they have to create that home space within themselves. So this is actually a positive thing. You want them to be self-reliant because it, again, will bring a better relationship for the both of you. You don't want anyone to rely on you this way. Let's go ahead and move on to the next card. We're getting White Dove. It says peace, purity of spirit, number 18 again. Two 18s. These are different decks, same artists, but this card is showing me that they finally found that peace within, which is a positive thing for your relationship. Because when somebody does not have peace within, they're going to try to look for it outside of themselves, which never ends well. I'll promise you that. It never ends well. There was a storm moment between you two, and they had to go within to find that peace after that storm. So the White Dove is talking about purification here. They may have needed to take their time to release resentment and embody a calm detachment about the situation. Because I think for some of them, right after this conflict happened, they wanted to charge in, fix the situation, talk about it, giving nobody space. But that space energy gives them time to get new breakthroughs about the situation, have mental clarity about the situation. Having that time of rest and relaxation is going to help them have some time to weigh all of the situations out, weigh up the options, and look within, which caused them to have peace in their life, which is a very good thing, especially if you're considering giving this person another chance. I would only encourage you giving them another chance if it truly feels right, if you truly feel like this person actually changed or learned something. And if you do connect with this person again, ask them what they learned. Just ask them what they learned. And if they can't give you a good answer, they may have not learned anything. Let's go ahead and move forward. So with this White Dove coming up, their spirit is truly lighter now if they've done the hard work. They're starting to grow in awareness that forgiveness is strength. So even for some of them, they might have put the blame on you. Oh, it was your fault that this relationship, connection, friendship, whatever, went to shambles. But they're realizing that they had a part in this as well. And they're realizing that if they want this to come back together, that you need to forgive and they need to forgive. And that forgiveness is a strength. A lot of people don't want to forgive. A lot of people just hold on to resentments for their entire lives. And that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help you. It literally doesn't help anyone to hold hate in your heart, to hold unforgiveness in your heart, and to hold resentment in your heart. Does nothing, and it just makes you spew negative energy out. So this is the energy that comes out of the Five of Wands. They probably were doing that, but now with this White Dove coming up, it shows me that their spirit is much lighter now. Let's go ahead and move forward. We're getting Satya, which is a yoga card, and it's talking about truthfulness. So maybe they lied to you. Maybe for some of you, the conflict was that they lied to you about something and you found out the lie, because with this card coming up and talking about truthfulness, this is showing me that they're even learning the truth of their own heart. Maybe they were acting in ways that were inauthentic to themselves and even affected by social conditioning or the people around them. But with this card coming up, they're shedding all that and showing their authentic side. And I'm sensing that you guys had such a deep connection at some point that you were able to see their true self and you wanted to see the good in this person, but they were falling into cycles of toxicity, ego, pride, etc. And you were willing to give this person another chance if they realize what they were doing and go back to showing their authentic self and not acting from this ego, not acting from pride and hate. So they're really learning to be honest with themselves, especially, but also with you. So this breakup or separation peeled away those illusions for them, peeled away those inauthentic sides of them. This card is asking you and them if you are living in aligned truth. Are you living in truth? Are you living in alignment? There's many ways to phrase that, but I'm essentially trying to illuminate if you're truly living within your truth, or if you're feeling like you have to be somebody else around other people, this person, other situations. What this card is showing me, what they learned after losing you, is that they understand love without authenticity collapses. So if they're not going to be authentic in their communication with you, in their connection with you, the relationship will collapse, which I sense that if you clicked on this title, that you guys are no longer in each other's lives. So all in all, they learned what true love is by losing it. So this is truly a soul who transmuted heartbreak into purpose. They are a lot more centered person after losing you and reviewing all the things that you taught them. You helped them become a better person, a more awake and conscious person. This Pals person is really learning concepts related to truth, peace, and being grounded in self-worth. So that's all I have for you today, pal number one. If you liked this video, please give me a big like down below and comment down below pal one to claim this reading, or tell me down below what you resonated with. When you interact with a reading, you pull the energy closer to you, so make sure you interact below. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. I post new pick a card tarot readings just like this one every single week. So I hope to see you here again soon. Until next time, bye, pal one. Hi, pal two. If you chose the rose quartz heart, this is going to be your reading. Let's go ahead and get right into the tarot cards. Ooh, we're getting the Five of Pentacles, Judgment, the Two of Wands, the Three of Wands, Empress, and the King of Swords. So this person definitely had deep lessons after losing you, but let's go ahead and talk about why you may have been drawn to the rose quartz heart. The rose quartz heart is talking about things like love, compassion, and emotional healing. These may be the main themes of what this person learned after losing you and why you may have been drawn to the rose quartz heart. The rose quartz heart is also connected to Taurus and Libra. You may have Taurus and Libra in your chart strong, or they may have Taurus and Libra in their chart strong, and it's also connected to the heart chakra. This is showing me for a lot of you that this is something to do with romance or a love relationship. And you can obviously also have love in a friendship relationship, one-on-one on the clock. Anything related to love, compassion, and emotional healing is the main lesson here. This person may be learning compassion and trust after rejection with this rose quartz. This crystal speaks to someone learning how to love again as well, both others and themselves. This person may have been lacking self-love in the past, but after this heartbreak, they're realizing that softness is not a weakness, it's strength. They may have been trying to pretend they were okay. They may have been trying to show that they didn't need anybody else and they were ready to move on. But the truth of the matter is they did feel a little bit down and out because we started off with the Five of Pentacles. But before we move on to the tarot cards, I want to talk about how the rose quartz is connected to the heart chakra. This is a good stone for restoring harmony after an emotional loss. It has a gentle vibration that dissolves guilt and fear and opens the soul up to self-forgiveness and empathy. Let's go ahead and go into the tarot cards and see what we can get from the tarot cards. So with the Five of Pentacles here, they obviously felt very left out in the cold after you left their life, after they lost you. They were feeling very rejected, unseen, and unworthy, because this is actually Mercury in Taurus energy, and this is talking about a financial loss, poverty, a lack mindset, isolation, and worry. So they may have even felt a lack mindset when they lost you, meaning that they were thinking thoughts as if you didn't actually care about them. They were thinking thoughts of, I will never find another person like this. They were feeling very isolated. They were worried about their future in terms of relationships. Maybe even for some of you, this was some type of business partnership and they were feeling very isolated and worried about maybe losing things financially or losing their business. So this card really marks a dark night of the soul for them. The loss of you really mirrored their fear of lack and unworthiness. So Spirit really used this as a way to teach them self-value beyond external validation. This is somebody that really relied on you a lot, or really relied on this connection a lot to give them self-worth and really helped validate them. But Spirit is really showing this person through the loss of you that they need to find that self-worth in their own life. So this pain really became a catalyst for awakening, which we see here in the Judgment card. The Judgment card is talking about Pluto and fire energy. Fire is a very spiritual element. And the Judgment card talks about judgment, rebirth, inner calling, absolution, assessment, and even letting go of the past. So they may have really struggled with letting go of this relationship because of this card coming up and it directly being tied of letting go of the past. You may have not talked to this person for some of you in weeks or years, and it had really made them have to face that, realizing that they may never get to talk to you again. So they had to face that judgment. They had a huge realization that they cannot keep living this way, in this energy of feeling like they're in lack, feeling like they are unworthy, feeling all these really cold, rejected, and unseen feelings. It's very heavy, it's very dark even, and they were in a dark place for quite a long time. The Judgment card here is really a karmic rebirth. It was time to face their mistakes and forgive themselves. This is a moment where they had to face their soul and take accountability for their part in this situation and why they even lost you. So I'm not saying either party is perfect, but they were realizing that feeling like they were losing something in a lack mindset, feeling like even blaming the other person, which is you, is not going to help them. So they really had to have that awakening, realizing what they did in the situation to have lost you. And I'm sensing for a lot of them that it took a lot of time for them to come to this judgment point. But they did have that awakening, and now they're beginning to plan a new path. We can see here in the Two of Wands. So with the Two of Wands, it shows me that they looked ahead, and they were wondering what life could be like beyond the pain that they were feeling from losing you. They had to eventually move forward. They can't just keep pining forever and being in that negative mindset forever. So they really realized that if they focus within, they can have a vision of their future returning to them. With this card coming up, it shows me that they're stepping into self-agency. They're really understanding that they can choose differently next time, have a different reaction from people next time, and really the healing begins with a new perspective. This card is talking about Mars and Aries energy, and it talks about future planning, progress, decisions, and discovery. So for some of you, I'm getting a whole download out here. They had a whole future plans with you, and after losing you, they realized that they had to throw that plan away, and they had a really hopeless period of time. But they didn't want to feel lost anymore. They had to replan their future without you at this point. And it was hard, and they didn't want to do it. But at this point where you guys are now, they have to plan some type of future without you. And if you guys are considering another chance with this person, make sure if you do have this person back in your life that you ask them what they learned when they come back into your life, or if you have a conversation. If they don't have a good answer, if they can't communicate what they've learned, then they probably need more time. I don't always even recommend taking anyone back, to be honest, especially depending on what type of conflict you guys had. But only you can know if that is something that is right for you in your heart, your soul. So I can't tell you. You'll have to dig within to really find that out. And then we'll move on to the Three of Wands, which is really interesting as well, because it shows me their hope is actually expanding. They're starting to see results in their life, tiny signs that the future can be better. Spiritually, this is showing a faith in progress. They're really learning patience, they're trusting in divine timing, and letting their intuition guide their own growth. So this might not be them going into another relationship or anything like that. This might be them realizing that they need to work on themselves to have a good relationship with people. So this really shows that they're birthing a self-love so they can give love in a way that is actually fulfilling to both people. Because I feel like in the past, they were really leeching from people, maybe you, because they were relying too heavily on people, which causes instability in relationships. So with this Three of Wands here, it talks about Sun and Aries, actually. So this is Mars and Aries, this is Sun and Aries, a lot of forward initiatory energy, because Aries is the ram. It's going to go first. It's very initiatory. They realized that they had to take life into their own hands. And this card is talking about progress, expansion, foresight, overseas opportunities. So what this is showing me is the loss of you really showed them that they need to take life into their own hands, maybe go on a new adventure, maybe try to do something new to get things off their mind, grow as a person individually before trying to approach you again, or before trying to get into another relationship for some of them. With that being said, this optimism that they are starting to develop in their lives really shows me that they moved over to the Empress, which the Empress is showing me that they're learning how to add beauty back into their life. This is talking about Venus and Earth energy, and the Empress is talking about beauty, nature, nurturing, abundance, generosity, creativity, femininity. So they're really starting to nurture themselves again, body, mind, and soul. So what I was saying was they self-isolated after the whole thing, really learned what their part was, and then after a long period of isolation, they went back out into the world and really started to see what can they discover in the world, how can they better this. They can't be moping around all the time. And what that led them into was self-nurturing. So after losing you, they learned that they have to be self-reliant and become self-nurturing. They may have relied on you and your femininity, your nurturing energy in the past, which drains you, which causes you to need to step away. So that might have been the original conflict in the beginning of all of this. The Empress is really sacred feminine healing. They may have relied on you, again, for that feminine healing, but now they're realizing that they need to give that to themselves. They need to nurture themselves. They need to figure out how to balance the divine feminine and the divine masculine within themselves and not rely on an external feminine to give that to them. So they're really learning that love first must be cultivated within. And abundance will start to flow from that safe place, that soft and open place, like the Empress. The Empress really attracts a lot to her because she's an open individual, soft, safe. She gives all these really great energies, and she's a very generous Empress as well. So from this self-nurturing really emerges discernment and wisdom that they did not have before, which we could see in the King of Swords. So before, they may have not had that mental clarity. They may have been looking for things outside of themselves and not really giving that power within. But with the King of Swords coming up here, this is Capricorn and Aquarius energy, so Saturn ruled. And this has shown them that what they learned after losing you is actually related to restriction. They had to restrict themselves a lot mentally, physically. They may have even not left the house for a long time and just self-isolated, and it helped them gain that mental clarity, gain intellectual power, authority, and truth. They were able to tap into their truth after this long period without you. So now the King of Swords shows me that they are able to think clearly and even speak truthfully. So their mind has finally caught up with their heart. Their heart knew that they did something wrong or that they always wanted you, but they didn't have the right words for that. They didn't have the right mindset about that, and they isolated themselves, maybe even ran away from this. But this is showing me that they grew in emotional intelligence after losing you. So what I'm getting, the image I'm getting is maybe they were setting boundaries with you before, but it was full of hate, full of bitterness, very harsh, ego-driven, which caused conflicts. And now they know that setting boundaries without bitterness can be a benefit, and expressing their truth in a calm authority is best rather than acting from an ego place. So these cards together show me a journey of a person going from despair to an enlightened clarity about the situation, about themselves, about their part in the situation. So all in all, to summarize the story that I see here on the tarot cards is they felt abandoned from losing you. They had to go within and realize their part in this and had an awakening moment. With the 2 and 3 of Wands after this, it shows me that they regained some hope in their life about their future, their self, relationships, etc. And then they were able to self-nurture themselves because there was no one else there to nurture them anymore, which is why they felt left out and abandoned because they were relying on your nurturing energy. But now they know how to self-nurture, and that brought them a lot of clarity. So this is really a person that went from feeling lost to finally seeing their self-worth. If you're going to reconnect with this person, it should be clear boundaries, both people standing in authority and truth, and it would cause you guys to have a better relationship that's a lot more honest. The spread really shows redemption through love and truth. Losing you really stripped away a lot of illusions for them, forcing them to rebuild their self-esteem from the inside out, no longer relying on other people such as you or any external force to give them that self-fulfillment and confidence. Now they have really integrated their heart and their mind, which means that they really integrated compassion with clarity, which is going to cause better relationships for them. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the oracle cards now and see what other messages we can get. All right, so we're getting illumination. The loss of you really illuminated a lot for them, which we can see in the judgment and illumination card. The sacred destiny illumination card is showing me they're finally seeing life with fresh eyes after the fog has lifted. As you can see, there's a very cloudy, foggy energy in this image here. They were feeling very clouded. They were feeling very foggy after losing you. You could see that also in the imagery here with the Five of Pentacles. It is actively snowing, and this person has crutches. This person is wrapped up when there's actually a church here. This is representative of a church with lights on. They could have at any time asked for help. But the truth is, for this particular pile, is the help is not external. The help is their own inner light. They were too clouded in the beginning, too foggy in the beginning to actually learn from the situation. But after losing you, after that pain subsided a bit, they were able to realize all of the things that happened in this relationship. The foggy mist symbolism here really shows a confusion clearing as well. Their spirit guides or their ancestors are actually guiding them towards a higher awareness of the situation, of themselves, of this relationship, and they're learning to trust their inner light more than anything external, because anything external is not going to actually help. Their higher guidance here really leads them to strength and wisdom. It was really difficult to lose you. This was a very difficult situation for them because they realized a lot about their part in this situation. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward to the next card. We're getting Ancient Oak Spirit, and it says strength here. That's really, really beautiful because actually I was just talking about how they got their inner strength, and this is the number 2 right here. So it's showing me that they have really been able to harmonize their own feelings, their mind, their emotions after some time away. The truth is, a lot of us only learn through very painful experiences, and we had to learn by losing people that we very much valued, and that's really difficult. Some people don't have to lose people to learn, but some people do. After they regained their strength, they realized all of the things that they added to the situation. I think with this strength card as well, that you really taught them how to be strong. I'm sensing that they really looked up to you because of some of these qualities that you have. You were very nurturing towards them. You were able to teach them things. You were able to show them strength. You may actually even try to illuminate things about them to them. So you may have seen things that showed within their shadow, and you may have tried to illuminate this for them so they could heal it. That's the point of illuminating shadows, so we can address it. But maybe they were trying to avoid these situations, not really trying to deal with these situations. But I'm sensing for my lovely pal twos that you guys really want the people around you to be strong and stand on their own 2 feet. The oak tree has a very deep root system, so you may have been really, really rooted in your own strength, your own truth. And this person has a lot of inspiration from you. What they learned after losing you is that strength really does come from within. And this is something that you really show them time and time again. The oak spirit really teaches this enduring strength, and it's through authenticity. A lot of the problems that human beings have is because they live in a way that's not authentic to them, because they're scared. They just want to seek validation from external things, and they're not rooted in their own truth. A lot of pain comes from that, and they're starting to realize that you always stood in your own truth. You were very clear about who you were, and you had a lot of authenticity in your spirit, and they're really learning to mirror that. So you have inspired them very, very much. And this shows me that all these obstacles became their initiations into learning more about themselves and having better relationships for themselves. They really look up to you. I really am sensing that because there's a lot of very spiritual cards here. We have judgment, we have illumination, we have strength. We even have the Empress here. So it shows me that you were trying to nurture them in a lot of different ways. You were really showing them what true love was, but they kind of fumbled the bag, honestly. But now they're really going through that emotional healing, trying to regain harmony in their lives, which I can see here with the number 2, and also the Rose Quartz is about harmony. Also, another thing that I'm getting from this strength card is they're actually learning how to choose themselves and put themselves first. Because again, for some of you guys, I'm sensing that this person put a lot of power into you, put you on a pedestal, relied on you too much, but then they're realizing that they need to put themselves on the same pedestal. You need to look highly on yourself and others. If you only look highly on other people, then you're always going to be giving your power away, and you're not going to be a very strong person. So they're really learning that wisdom actually from you, that strength from you. So let's go ahead and move forward. Oh, we're getting shared wisdom, and this is a very deep root system, so this is very connected to the Ancient Oak Spirit as well. This card here is an air card, and it talks about wisdom of experience. So you only gain wisdom. Wisdom comes from experience. So what I'm really getting, I'm getting a whole download. So what I'm actually getting from this is all the times that you guys were connected and you were trying to share enlightening things with them and you were trying to tell them some of these concepts that I'm talking to you about, they weren't able to gain that wisdom from listening to it. So it came to a point where you guys disconnected from each other. And only through that silence, only through being isolated and alone, were they able to reveal all the things that you said to them and come to that judgment point. And that's where the wisdom comes, when you experience it yourself. So they had to experience a lot of things themselves for them to understand these deeper things that you were trying to teach them. So 2-2 on the clock right now. There was a lot of harmony in your spirit. And I'm sensing that you didn't want to shut this person completely out, but because they weren't listening, because they weren't learning or changing, and they were acting and misbehaving, you had to cut them out. And you may have cut them out in maybe a harsh way, which I can see here with the Five of Pentacles, because this is getting straight up put out in the cold. So they may have really, really felt that at the beginning of this. But with this Share Wisdom card, it shows me that they're ready to speak from experience now and talk to you and connect with you from experience now that they have gone through this moment of losing you, rather than from their ego. I feel like they were very defensive when you guys were connected. They could have been trying to one-up you or humble you or these little spiteful things towards you because they didn't know how they were even feeling or how to put words into how they were feeling, so they were misbehaving, which caused them to lose you. But let's go ahead and move on to the next card and see what else we can get. We're getting kindness, love in action, number 17 at the top. 1 + 7 is 8, if any of that resonates with you. So what this is showing me is they learned how to treat themselves with kindness and compassion. So I'm sensing that maybe this person used to talk in very self-deprecating ways, or maybe they weren't very kind to themselves, or they may have not even been kind to other people. But with this time alone, they were able to heal their inner child, which requires a lot of kindness and gentleness. Maybe they even went through deep meditation, because we're getting this girl here and she's obviously meditating and she's getting that divine energy all throughout and around her. So this is showing me that this person needed some kindness in their life. Maybe they were relying on you to be the kind force in their life. Maybe they were realizing that they weren't kind, they weren't soft, and they weren't showing love in a proper way, which caused them to lose you. With this card coming up, that silence, the time apart, losing you, they realize the importance of kindness if you want to keep relationships. I'm really sensing they potentially were not very kind towards the end of this connection. And with kindness coming up, it's showing me that they have learned how important that truly is. And they don't even know why they would have not been kind to you in the past, or what happened in the past that caused them to act from ego, which is not a kind place to act from. So with that being said, that they're actually learning to rekindle kindness in their own life, being kind to themselves, being kind to others, and potentially hoping for a chance to show you that they can be kind again. And let's go ahead and move on. We're getting the animal spirit zebra, 33 here. So 3 + 3 is 6. This is a harmonious number, and the zebra card says individuality and uniqueness. So what that is telling me is that this person learned how to be more individual in this time apart. I'm sensing for some of you that they relied on you, your strength, your spirit, your nurturing, your kindness to propel them in life, relying way too heavily on you. And that puts a lot of strain on relationships, and it caused you guys to separate. I'm sensing that you saw the goodness in this person and you just wish that they saw that individually, that uniqueness in their own self, but they weren't able to tap into that, and they put that on you. They put you again on that pedestal. And that's why I said earlier that they need to put themselves on a pedestal so that their relationships can prosper. Because when you don't love yourself and you're always relying on other people, then it's just going to cause everyone to be so drained from that situation. So after this time apart and losing you, they realized that their uniqueness actually makes them lovable. So maybe they didn't want to act in an authentic light. Maybe they didn't want to show their uniqueness before, but now they're realizing that you were somebody that saw their uniqueness and appreciated it. And now they are more willing to show it, love those unique things about themselves more too, and not rely on external validation to show them that their uniqueness is lovable. They have to learn to love their own unique traits. And the zebra symbolizes this radiant individuality. They no longer try to fit in. They're okay with standing out. They're okay with being unique. And they now celebrate all these differences as a divine thing. This authenticity as a magnetism. They're starting to realize that authenticity is magnetic. Before, they would feel if they were authentic, if they showed their uniqueness and their individuality, that they may be ostracized or that they may not connect with people as much or people won't like them. But the truth is, people appreciate authenticity. People can sense inauthenticity. Being authentic is in their best interest, and they definitely learned that after losing you. You are somebody that I feel showed them your uniqueness. You stand in your own light, your own authenticity. So this person is very inspired by that and willing to now put their unique self out into the world. Let's go ahead and get to the last card. We're getting, this is the third eye chakra. It's a chakra card. Aina, this is talking about the third eye, intuition. This is showing me that they learned how to refine their own intuition. They may have been acting and living out of a fear state, but now after losing you, they learned that they need to trust their intuition. They need to trust that inner insight. The third eye opens their perception beyond the logical plane. This is an emotional, intuitive plane. Now they're following that inner guidance with faith that spirit is going to lead the way. This shows me that you are a very spiritual person and you try to give them these spiritual insights while you guys were connected, but they were ignoring things, essentially. They were trying to think logically. Maybe there were some esoteric topics that you were trying to tell them or very spiritual topics that you were trying to tell them, and they weren't listening. But after the loss of you, they are starting to get signs and synchronicities that everything that you were telling them was in their best interest, that you were trying to help. With this card coming up, their love lesson became really spiritual insight. When we lose love in our lives, it causes so much pain that most of us will go within to try to rectify that pain. And they have really gained a lot of spiritual insight from doing this. So with that being said, I really sense that they learned that losing you really helped them rediscover themselves. The love is not gone. The energy of love is not gone. It just has been redirected inward. I do sense that this person still has love for you, but they are no longer in a place where they rely on you for their validation, their happiness, their fulfillment. They realize that that love needs to be redirected inward so they can actually be somebody that's loving from the inside out. And their soul lesson was illumination of this through compassion, which we see in the Bros Quartz. So true love really begins with inner kindness and trusting your intuition and having that divine clarity. This pile is really showing me that this person has slowly healed, become more wise, and become even more self-aware through losing you. So it's up to you whether you want to reconnect with this person or not, but really just ask them what they learned if you do connect again. So with that being said, if you liked this video, make sure you give me a big like down below and comment down below pile number 2 to claim this reading or tell me what resonated the most for you in this reading. I love to see your comments, and when you connect and interact with the reading, it brings the energy closer to you, so make sure you interact below. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I post new pick a card tarot readings just like this one every single week, so I hope to see you here again soon. Until next time, bye pile 2. Hi pile 3, if you chose the Agate Moon, this is going to be your reading. Let's go ahead and get right into the tarot cards. We're getting the Ace of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords, the King of Pentacles, Death and Rebirth, the Queen of Wands, and Temperance. We got a good amount of major arcana here, 2 out of 6 of the cards, and we have a lot of powerful energy here. What I'm sensing is they went through major transformations after losing you. They learned quite a lot, but let's go ahead and talk about the Agate Moon and why you may have been drawn to the Agate Moon before we go into the tarot cards. The Agate Moon represents things like stability, grounding, harmony. It's connected to Gemini and Virgo energy. You may have Gemini or Virgo in your chart, or they may have Gemini and Virgo in their chart. And it's also connected to the root chakra. What I'm sensing from this is they learned how to be more stable and grounded and living in harmony after losing you. They were unstable for a while, they lost their grounding after losing you, but they learned that they need to find that within themselves. This is talking about breaking free from fear, from lower vibrations, and reclaiming their authentic power. This crystal represents someone who is finally finding that peace after chaos. They're grounding themselves again, learning that true stability starts inside, not through controlling of others, not through controlling situations, but through calm. So the agate anchors the root chakra, steadying your emotions and restoring confidence. So they may have had a lot of turmoil in their life. It might have been more than just their situation with you. The vibration of the agate moon here is showing me that it taught them that harmony comes from acceptance and not resistance. I sense that this person had a lot of anxiety when it comes to losing you, after they lost you, they had a lot of anxiety. They needed to deal with that anxiety before moving forward. Let's go ahead and now talk about the tarot cards. We start off with the Ace of Pentacles here, and that is talking about earth energy. And typically it talks about a new financial or career opportunity, manifestation, and abundance. So essentially for some of them, after losing you, they may have tried to redirect their energy into a new financial or career opportunity, trying to create more abundance for themselves, maybe even trying not to think about this situation too much. But with the next card, we can see that they were still thinking about this connection and everything that went on in the connection, but their default seems to be somebody that actually reverts to trying to just work in the world. So they were trying to just distract themselves. And with this card coming up, they may have been offered that new beginning, whether it was work or a career opportunity, like I said, but this also could be an offer of a second chance, hoping for a second chance from you. So this is really showing me that Spirit gave them an opportunity, some type of opportunity, whether it's financial or emotional or relational, but it required them to be grounded before they could actually fully manifest it. This card is really symbolizing the start of them becoming more mature, learning how to invest wisely in love, in work, in their own time and energy. However, even though some of them were offered this new beginning or this new opportunity, they were filled with worries because the Nine of Swords is here. The Nine of Swords is Mars in Gemini energy, and this is talking about anxiety, worry, fear, depression, even nightmares. So this person may have gone through a lot of different anxiety attacks, even nightmares or depression periods because of losing you. Sleepless nights, regret, even overthinking. They couldn't really escape the guilt or anxiety that they had after losing you. I'm not sure if this person exceptionally fumbled the bag and caused a lot of problems within your relationship or what, but they were really rethinking about the situation again and again. This card is really showing me that their mind became their cage. You could see it in the symbolism here. This person has their hands covering their face, looking down, and have all these birds up here. And the birds really show a spiritual element and that they are really stuck in their own minds. This card exposes the inner torment that they had to go through. It shows me that they were resisting some form of change, and that's why they were stuck in their minds about it. They were able to act at any time, but they decided to be stuck in their own heads. Their healing begins the moment that they actually face those fears directly, but they seem to be somebody that actually avoids it and goes into responsibilities and trying to have more responsibilities in the world so they don't have to face these emotional things, which we could see here in the King of Pentacles. The way that they felt that they could ground themselves is working hard, regaining stability. They did not address their emotions very well, which we can see with the Nine of Swords, but they revert back to what they know. They went to go work more hours, start a second business, start a side business, etc. That's the way that they felt like they could take control of their lives. This is Aries and Taurus energy, and it talks about wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, and abundance. They felt like pouring into their own business, pouring into their work was the way that they could stop thinking about you after losing you. And it did work for a while because this represents that masculine maturity within them to learn accountability in a section of their life. They weren't learning that accountability, responsibility, or stability in relationships, but they wanted to put that energy into work. This is showing me that they began to build real security in the material realm, but they need to build that same security in the emotional realm, and they will benefit from doing things that feed them emotionally. After losing you, they put all of their energy into financial things, earthly things, physical things, career, money, stability, even their ego. This may not be the best thing to hear, but it doesn't seem like they went in emotionally very much or at all until they hit death, actually. So in the beginning of you guys being separated, they went right into business and trying to avoid their negative thoughts, but eventually they hit death and rebirth, which is a water element. It's Scorpio energy, and it talks about endings, change, transformation, and transition. So this is telling me that they finally were able to go within, deal with the situation, realize their part in it, and they finally were able to let go. Meaning that for some of you, you have this person blocked. So then they had to let go of that energy. They had to realize they messed up. They have to let go. And they realize that the loss of you is a major ending and that they have to create a new beginning for themselves. Which again, I do sense that for a lot of them, they thought that their new beginning was something in the earthly, physical, career sector because that's just what's comfortable for them. I sense a lot of go, go, go in this person's energy when they just retreat completely. I'm sensing that they really cut off friends, potentially family. They stopped talking to people as much after losing you so they could just focus on working. But eventually they hit this crossroads where they realize that they have to deal with their emotions. And so this gives rebirth energy. Their old self really had to die for their soul to start awakening to the truth here. This is a real karmic purge of attachments, illusions, and control. So maybe this person really thrives off being able to control things, but because they can't control the loss of you, they couldn't control this relationship, they just went back into things that they can control again, which is their career, anything related to earth physical things. That's what they felt like they control. Even things like their own fitness, they felt like they can control that. So they may have started working out a lot more after the loss of you. So they really burned everything down to ashes at some point with this death card coming up. They realize that putting all their energy into work doesn't fill that void of losing you. So they realize that they have to face these things. And I do think that they started to think about things in the emotional realm because this is connected to the water element. So after so long of not trying to deal with these emotions, just trying to focus on what they can focus on in the tangible world, and even trying to organize their thoughts, they eventually came to the point where they realized that they need to change. They need to face their emotions. And after they did that, they actually became more confident because we have the Queen of Wands here. The Queen of Wands is talking about courage, confidence, independence, being a social butterfly, determination. It's Pisces and Aries energy. So with this being said, this shows me that they're starting to find their glow again. They're starting to figure out what makes them feel vibrant, magnetic, and creative. This is a good thing. So even if you do not want to be in this person's life anymore, this person gaining that vibrance back, that creative energy back, is going to help them. And if you do want to be with this person again, you would have wanted them to work on themselves. You would have wanted them to try to heal the things that they did wrong, maybe the energies that they were giving out in this relationship. And this Queen of Wands is showing me that they are glowing again, that they had that drive and determination to rebuild their courage and their confidence. When you're in a relationship with somebody that does not have courage, doesn't have confidence in themselves, is not very independent, it drags the other person down, which could cause relationship instability and maybe even the loss of this relationship. So with this being said, that transformation energy reaches harmony and purpose here in Temperance. So Temperance is fire energy, it's Sagittarius energy, and it talks about balance, moderation, patience, purpose, reconciliation, healing, and angelic guidance. So what I'm sensing from this card coming up at the end is that they went through all this healing, went through a lot of mental back and forth again and again, and they even try to feed into their work like I talked about many times. That's the main message here. And after being able to have some time in themselves, they were able to open up their third eye and realize a relationship requires balance, and that your relationship may not have been balanced, which caused it to end. So this is showing me that they found a way to balance all the aspects of their life, how to feed into work while also feeding into their own emotions, while also trying to show up as a good person in a relationship. So they're at this hopeful time in their life where they think that reconciliation can be possible, but they're just not sure how to move forward at this time. But I do sense that because the Temperance card is coming up, that they feel like they are able to find balance and have a better version of a relationship with you. I do not encourage you to accept somebody back blindly. If you guys do begin to talk again, ask them what they learned. And if they cannot communicate what they've learned to you, suggest that it would be very good to get back together, 333 on the clock. But if they do tell you everything they learned, everything that they integrated within their lives, all the spiritual things that they may have learned, because we do have death here, it's a very spiritual card. If they can communicate all that with you, and learning how to tell you what they merge in terms of logic and intuition, passion and patience, and how they are now living in a state, in an equilibrium state instead of chaos, then maybe you can invite them back into your life. But if they cannot communicate any of that with you, then I don't really recommend that. So this really shows me the completion of a cycle. They have actually been able to ground rebirth into their life. So some people, they go through a moment where they feel all reborn and rebirthed because they dealt with a little bit of their issues, but they don't actually implement it into their life. With this person, I actually do sense that they really deeply integrated this into their life, rebuilding that courage, rebuilding that confidence, having that balance in their life, and really showing me that they are ready for a new phase, whether that's going to be with you or somebody else. So this really shows me that in the beginning, after losing you, that they tried to just dive into a new career opportunity, a new financial opportunity, kind of avoiding things, but that caused them even more mental turmoil because they realized that even trying to redirect their energy is not going to work if they don't deal with all the things they're going through. After realizing that and trying to still put more effort into stability into the material realm, they realize that they need to go within, which caused them major transformation, major rebirth, and even birthed a new level of confidence and courage within them, and eventually drove them to being very peaceful, very balanced. So they really learned how to rebuild from rock bottom after losing you, which is a good thing, especially if you're considering getting reconnected with this person. You would have wanted them to change. So I do see change in this person's energy. Their story is really one of alchemy. The breakup really forced them to shed an old identity and emerge a stronger, more balanced, and more self-possessed person. So now it feels like they're really leading from a calm power and not like this desperate energy where they need you for this and that. So let's go ahead and actually move on to your oracle cards and see what other messages we can get for you. Okay, we're getting freedom. So I feel like actually you were the one that felt really free after this ended. For some reason, I'm sensing that because the imagery here and here is very different. I felt like this was more their energy where they were feeling very scattered after losing you, but it seems like maybe you had a moment of freedom actually losing this person because it was a lot. It was very heavy energy when somebody relies on you that much or causes a lot of conflict or even chaos in your life. Of course, it's going to feel free to get away from that energy. You may have felt actually really free to be yourself again after this loss. And what they learned after losing you is an inspiration of you and your freedom, your free spirited energy. The Queen of Wands is also talking about a free spirit. So this person may also have felt that the feeling of freedom in their life may stem from being authentic. So I just sense that some of these people that you guys have been dealing with maybe have been acting out of ego or maybe have been acting in ways that were not actually authentic to themselves. So they really invite freedom back into their lives by being themselves. So freedom really means authenticity beyond living as a people pleaser or living in fear. Like birds, they begin to fly when they stay true to their own self. Birds are also connected to expression. So I'm sensing that spirit is really encouraging them to express themselves without hesitation, not trying to avoid themselves. I sense that there was some level of them avoiding themselves and restricting themselves when it came to this relationship or after the relationship ended. But they're really learning again that freedom comes in a lot of different formats. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. We're getting the Daffodil Fairy, which says new beginnings. So what I'm sensing here is they have a lot of new beginnings in their life at this time. So maybe they did start a new job, maybe they started some type of new financial opportunity, and this shows me that they also are starting to feel fresh, hopeful, and alive again, potentially connected to this relationship or this partnership that you guys have. Maybe they're hopeful that you guys will run into each other again and be able to start a new beginning together. Or essentially, maybe they're feeling that maybe you guys are best when you guys are separated, and having new beginnings with other people is really dependent on your situation. There's also a number 10 here, which you put 1 and 0 together is 1. So the number of 1 and individuality is really coming up here as well. And the number 1 is very tied to new beginnings too. So I'm sensing that whether it is a new beginning with each other or new beginnings separately from each other, they're really sensing that hope again with having a new beginning, because they were feeling very stuck at some point where they felt nothing was going to go right, that you guys would never resolve, that they would never have any type of new beginning in their life. But this is a good thing, because let's not be petty, y'all. Be happy for other people even if we're not with them. And I'm sensing that they're also happy for you, whichever path that you decide to take. They don't want to force you into deciding to be with them or not. And I'm really sensing that maybe before they had that kind of energy where they just kept offering you maybe another opportunity, but you were like, we need some time apart. So I'm sensing that they did have that time apart, really able to deal with themselves, and now they're ready to potentially start up a new beginning or just have a new path entirely. So let's go ahead and move forward. We're getting the Outlaw. Oh wow. Okay, so that's a very interesting card. I didn't expect that. So the Outlaw card is really talking about the other element. something about their energy is going against the grain at this point. So they really stopped caring what others think, and they are now following their truth. So maybe this is something that you encourage them to do. You told them to stop caring what other people think and start doing X, Y, and Z because you saw a side to them that they didn't typically show to other people. Something related to why you guys are no longer connected because you felt like they weren't being authentic. But the outlaw energy really dismantles any conformity. So maybe you felt like they were going with the status quo and just doing what everyone tells them to do. And maybe they even went against you in some way so they could please their family or their friends or the people that are surrounding them. Didn't like that. Maybe you're the outlaw. Maybe you're the one that lives authentically and really we're trying to inspire them to live authentically as well. So now with this card coming up, it's really showing that they have reclaimed their own moral compass, living in integrity and not living for approval. So this is really a balanced form of rebellion birthed into their life as individuality. This is really a great card to come up because I'm sensing that genuinely some of them were just lost in the sauce in a sense. Their strength was work for sure. We're getting pentacle cards and such. I really sense that they just kept going back into work every time you guys were disconnected. But then finally realizing that there's a lot of factors about them that make them very unique and that they need to tap into those things. So I'm really sensing that they were able to break free from a lot of limiting inherited patterns, even inherited beliefs. So maybe they learned a lot from their families, good qualities and bad qualities. And now they're learning what resonates with them and what doesn't. That could really benefit your relationship if you decide to get back together. Let's go ahead and move forward. We're getting the joy card, pure happiness, number 24, 2 plus 4 is 6. So that is a very harmonious number, all about balance and harmony. So this is showing me that they really learned how to regain that joy back into their life, that happiness back into their life without relying on anyone else. They may have even become more joyful, happier people because they were able to tap into this outlaw energy where they don't want to people please anymore. They're not conforming their life into a mold that somebody has built for them, whether that's family, friends, society at large. They're starting to really be happy again because they're being authentic in their true self. So that joy energy is actually a vibration of gratitude. And now they really celebrate life as it is, really embodying that temperance, lighthearted balance. So this is showing me that the heavy lessons that came from losing you is starting to slowly soften and become blessings in their life where they can have that inner joy again. That really came from their deep reflection, that transmutation that we see in the death and rebirth card. They almost are reborn people inspired by you. Maybe you pointed out a lot of things from their shadow, this and that you felt like they could improve on, and you were just trying to illuminate their shadow so they could heal it. And at first they might have pushed that away, but after losing you, they were able to sit with all their thoughts, all the things and interactions that you guys have went through, and they had realized maybe you were onto something, maybe you were right. So they are at this point where they're actually living in joy again because they are more authentic now. And that is definitely something that you inspired them to do. That's such a beautiful message and card. I really enjoy that they were able to tap back into their own authentic self. Let's go ahead and move on. We're getting dinosaur. It says primal power and deep reflection. 34 here. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 is a very spiritual number. I really think they went through a spiritual awakening, you guys. This is what I'm getting from the cards here. And isn't this spread beautiful? It's very colorful. So maybe they lost the color out of their life for a while after losing you because you provided them with a lot of fun, confidence, joy, a really deep connection, inspiration as well. And they're really wanting that new beginning with you. I'm sensing two people talking in a car. So maybe you guys will have a conversation soon in a car where you guys get to share everything that you learned in your time apart. But with this dinosaur coming up, it's really showing me that they went through deeper reflection than I even thought in the beginning, because with this death and rebirth card coming up, Scorpio energy, I knew that they went through a time where they had to go really deep within, really facing all the things that happened in this relationship. But with this dinosaur card coming up and saying deep reflection, it's really showing me that they went a lot deeper than any of us think. They really tapped into an ancient strength within them. So the dinosaur really speaks to this timeless wisdom. Obviously, dinosaurs are not here on the planet with us anymore, so we can take symbolism from that. And I really think that through their solitude, they were really able to reflect on even impermanence, because again, dinosaurs are not with us anymore. They are extinct. So they maybe even felt you were never going to come back. That's what I'm sensing. I know that's really intense, but they almost felt like you were extinct out of their life. They may have tried to reach out multiple times and not gotten anything back. So that's the energy I'm getting here, that they felt they had to accept that you were gone and really find fulfillment in themselves. And that's actually so beneficial, because you don't want them to be dusty, pining after you, thinking about you nonstop, really putting that clinging energy out towards you. What you want is actually for them to go within themselves, really learn how to be self-sufficient, and then potentially create a new relationship from that energy. And that might be a message for you, my dear. If you are the one that has the energy of reaching for this person again and again, the best way to actually even attract somebody back, or even a new person, you might benefit better from a new person in your life, is going within the self, trying to feed your own self, really reflecting on the situation, processing things. Okay, I'm getting a download right now. So if you guys had a conflict that caused a lot of anger in the relationship and caused the ending of the relationship, have you actually even sat with the emotion? So many people do not sit with their emotions. And I literally, what I mean by that is using your couch, your bed, whatever is most comfortable for you, whether you meditate sitting up or laying down. Laying down is okay. Really not trying to think at all. Laying down, closing your eyes. Closing your eyes is very important here. You can do it silently or with a meditation track behind, and really letting that feeling of anger come up. Let the anger come up. Don't ask questions, feel it. And I know that's so annoying, because a lot of us want to push it away, which I think they were doing here, but they realized that they had to sit with it. So I'm also encouraging you to sit with any feelings that you might have about this situation. And in that silence, it will start to slowly dissolve. You may have to do multiple sessions of this, and I know you don't want to do this, but I'm sensing that it could actually birth a whole new relationship for you guys, a whole new type of connection for you guys. So it's definitely worth checking out, trying, if you guys are interested in reconnecting with this person. But even if not, it'll help for future relationships as well. All right, let's go ahead and move forward. This is the God of Courage, and this is a deity card. This is Hanuman. They now face life with bravery and devotion, even a new level of courage, because this is the God of Courage. So this God is really symbolizing that transcendence of ego. So maybe you guys really got into it at some point because of ego clashes, and they are realizing that has never fed them, that has never helped the relationship. Acting out of ego has never helped the relationship. Humility is what is really going to balance everything out and bring that real strength in. So I feel like this person let their mind control them at a point with this card here, and now instead of letting their mind control them, they control their minds, and they're acting from a place of soul alignment. So this card really shows that they have completed this metamorphosis. They're completely new people after going through this situation of losing you. And it's from this fear to faith. And now they're grounded in this spiritual power. They may have not been very spiritual people before. They may have not really dived into their emotions before, but through the loss of you and the amount of pain that had to come from that painful ending, they had to go into themselves. They had to rely on their intuition more and become more spiritual. So I'm really sensing that they have gone full circle here. And honestly, this person has really learned that freedom isn't running away or avoiding the situation. It really comes from facing your fears, releasing those fears, and then choosing joy after that. And they have integrated their light and their shadow, shown here in the Temperance card. They have reclaimed their inner peace and really stepped boldly into their authenticity. So now their soul is walking in the middle path, powerful, they're centered, and they're free. So whether or not you want this person back in your life, I do see that there's changes. Make sure you ask them what they've learned so they can communicate it to you. And so that's actually all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this reading, pile number 3, give me a big like down below and comment pile 3 down below to claim this reading. Or tell me in the comments what resonated the most with you in this reading. I love to see your comments. And also, when you interact with a reading, the energy gets pulled closer to you. So make sure you interact below. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I post new pick a card tarot readings just like this one every single week. So I hope to see you here again soon. Until next time, bye, pile 3. Hi, pile 4. If you chose the Carnelian heart, this is going to be your reading. Let's go ahead and get right into the tarot cards. Ooh, we're getting the Hermit right off the bat. 2 of Cups, the Ace of Wands. We're getting the Hanged One, Judgment, and the 8 of Wands. Okay, three major arcanas here. This is a very powerful reading, very, very passionate reading here. So this person learned a lot after losing you. This is a reading that's full of action, energy, passion. So they have a lot of passion towards you. Whether you want to reconnect with this person or not is going to be up to you. But I sense that this person wants to come back into your life with this Eight of Wands ending the reading here. So let's first talk about why you may have been drawn to the Carnelian heart. So the Carnelian heart really is talking about motivation, courage, vitality. So that might be all the things that they have learned after losing you, reigniting that motivation and courage, and even having more vitality in their life so that they can transform themselves, because the fire energy is a transformative spiritual energy, and become a better person to potentially either have you back into their life or create a new relationship and a new life for them. Okay, so this is connected to the sacral and root chakra, and it's connected to Leo and Aries energy. So you may have Leo or Aries in your chart, or they may have Leo or Aries in their chart. So this is very fiery energy, and the cards really show fiery energy as well. There's a lot of passion here. The Carnelian heart is really showing me that they have built up this courage to act after having a deep inner awakening about this relationship and the loss of this relationship. So this crystal really represents somebody waking back up to life. After losing you, they're learning how to be brave again, to chase what they want and stop holding themselves back. Maybe they were holding themselves back and not telling you how they felt, and maybe being passive or withdrawn, but they're realizing that they feel a lot of passionate feelings for you and they want to show you those things. Carnelian, being linked to the sacral and root chakras, stirs passion, drive, and a grounded confidence. It burns away any paralysis and fear so they can take bold and aligned action. This shows me that they have a lot of passion for you and they have a drive towards chasing you, literally pursuing you. And I'm sensing a lot of masculine energy here. I'm not sure if we're channeling a divine masculine here, but they do have that masculine energy of wanting to reconnect with you. Let's go ahead and start with the tarot cards here. We're starting off with the Hermit, which is Virgo energy, earth energy. And this shows me that they pulled away from everything after losing you. They needed that alone time to think and feel. The Hermit is their soul retreating. They had to face their own patterns in solitude, away from everybody else, no distractions, no noise, facing their truth. And what they learned in that soul searching time changed everything for them. This card typically talks about soul searching, deep introspection, being alone, inner guidance, healing, and self-exploration. They had to explore a lot of facets of themselves while they were alone and isolated, realizing that passion and drive that you brought out of them. They may not feel that passionate about anything else in their life, and they are full force passionate about you and realizing that you're one of their top passions in life. I would be surprised if this person does not reach out to you, and if you have this person blocked, I'm sure they already tried. I sense for this person that you will be hearing from them. Whenever you unblock them, they will probably try. This person has much energy directed towards you that I can't see them not trying to give this another chance. With that being said, let's move on to the next card, which is the Two of Cups. This is Venus in Cancer energy, and this is talking about unified love, partnership, and mutual attraction. They saw you and your relationship as a Two of Cups relationship. They realized after losing you how real your bond was. You were not another person to them. You were a deep bond for them, and this card reveals to me that they now understand the sacredness of the emotional bond that you had, that mutual respect that you had, and the heart-to-heart connection that you had. The Hermit time showed them where they failed this relationship because they failed to show up in the way that they needed to, and that caused you to step away, and that caused them to lose you. And that emotional realization reignites even a harder desire and passion from them, because we have the Ace of Wands here. The Ace of Wands is a very fiery card. It talks about inspiration, new opportunities, growth, and potential. This is pile 4, and I film in order. I'll do pile 1, 2, 3, 4, and I usually tired by pile 4, but the energy is kicked up because I feel this person has passion energy for you, that I'm sensing that passionate energy. I feel they were frustrated at a point when they weren't able to reach you and weren't able to connect with you. But with this Ace of Wands coming up, that spark comes back. They feel inspired again, wanting to try again. Any failures that they had in reaching out to you, they don't care. They're going to keep trying. They have this pure life force energy because the Ace of Wands is very powerful, very fiery. This is passion, creativity, and courage. They may be thinking of creative ways to try to get your energy back into their lives. They may be thinking of different courageous things that they can do to show you their love for you. Losing you pushed them to ask, well, what do I want in love and life? That answer, and the answer is something that lit fire under them. They realize that what they want in love and in their life is you. However, they feel what they were doing in the past did not work and they have to move differently, which we can see that they reflected on in the Hanged One here. Usually it's the Hanged Man, but this deck it's the Hanged One, and this is Neptune and water energy. This is talking about pause, surrender, letting go, getting a new perspective, waiting, sacrifice, and enlightenment. I'm sensing that they had much passion towards you and they went away for a little bit after losing you, but they did probably try to reach out. I don't know. For some of you, you blocked them. They weren't able to reach you. And for some of you, you did get the message, but you ignored them. This put them into the Hanged One energy where they had to pause and reflect on what they were going to do next. Maybe they got to the conclusion of realizing how important you were in their life, and they realized that you probably need a little bit of time to deal with the situation at hand. The energy I'm getting here is this person might start showing up at your door or calling you on a blocked number or something, because I'm sensing too much passionate energy for them to let you go. And maybe that's not what some of you want to hear because you want to let go and you're curious about what they're feeling. I think they're coming in hot soon. What's happening here? With this Hanged One, it's showing me that after not getting a response from you, that they felt stuck, but that pause changed how they see everything. Maybe they finally realized that they were acting out of ego, and this card is showing a spiritual surrender, realizing that they had to release that control, release their ego, and release any old roles that you guys might have had. Maybe they were used to you accepting them back into their lives and accepting small apologies before, but they are now realizing that you're not. With this being here and the person hanging upside down, it shows that they were forced into getting a higher perspective of the situation, zooming out of what has happened in the past and realizing that this separation is different. They have to sacrifice comfort for truth. They were comfortable in the cycles that you had before, where maybe you were accepting them back into your life, and now they're realizing that the truth is they probably messed up in a way that you blocked them or you no longer in their life. They realize that they're gonna have to approach this very differently. And that surrender leads to a huge wake-up call for them, which is shown here in the Judgment card. The Judgment card shows me that they had a major realization of, I can't keep doing the old thing. I can't keep redoing the old things. I can't have a new relationship repeating old patterns. They could be thinking, I can't keep living this way, whichever way that they have been living their lives. The Judgment card talks about Pluto and fire energy, and it talks about judgment, rebirth, inner calling, absolution, assessment, and letting go of the past. They may have had to let go of a lot of things that has happened in the past here and things that they were comfortable with. Again, saying maybe you have forgiven them easily in the past, but then now they're realizing that that is no longer the energy that is between you two. What I'm sensing on the cards here is they're very inspired to change and rebirth themselves. They could potentially have a new chance with you. This Judgment card is a real karmic reckoning for them. They are reviewing their actions, their choices, they're taking responsibility for their part, and they're hearing the call to step into a higher version of themselves. Maybe a version of them that you have been requesting of them. This is where they understand the impact of losing you. Once that call is heard, once they realize what they need to do, movement starts to accelerate, which we could see here in the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands shows me that their energy is rushing forward. They're hoping something can happen between you guys, and they're hoping it happens fast because they don't. I'm tweaking out right now. I feel their energy is a little spazzy and that they want to connect with you again, have a conversation with you again. They could tell you all the things that they have realized, but I'm sensing that you have pulled your energy back heavily, so you don't want to connect at this time. I suggest that you give it as much time as you feel you need, because don't worry about how they're feeling or how spazzed out they are. Take the time that you need to reflect on the situation and learn what you need to learn from it. Because if you guys jump back into things, it's probably not going to change. But I do sense that this person has gone through a lot of major changes, major realizations about the connection, through this time apart from you. With that being said, I'm seeing that this card shows me momentum, alignment, and a clear direction. They may have a whole game plan about the next time they get to talk to you. They are ready to act, speak, travel, and even pursue you with a new level of courage. So that stagnation energy is over, and they have that energy of coming forward, the Carnelian energy, a fully fiery energy being activated here. This shows me they went from a journey of isolation to inspired and purposeful movement. They had to go within after losing you to realize what they need to do next. And so, to summarize the tarot story that I see here is they went to isolation after losing you, and they keep thinking about the good times, remembering all the love that you guys shared, and that reignites their passion towards moving forward to you. However, I don't think they got a response from you, so they went back into pausing for a moment, trying to see things differently, and then having a huge wake-up call about the situation, and all the things that you told them in the past are finally hitting them, and they're finally understanding, which moves them into fast action. They want to move forward at this time. They learned that they can't hope. They have to act, and they have to do something with what they feel. I'm sensing that they want to share with you their feelings. This spread shows me a soul that has used their loss of you as a fuel for their own evolution. They went through reflection, they went through surrender, and they are taking accountability. Now they're stepping into being more courageous and decisive with their actions. They're not driven by desire, but a higher truth that this connection was something that was unified, loving, mutual, and something they want back in their lives. Let's move on to your oracle cards and see what other messages we can get for you. All right, the next card we have is Inner Peace. I definitely see that they gained a lot of inner peace. With the Inner Peace card coming up, I definitely sense that through this time away from you, they were able to gain a lot of inner peace, because I feel their energy was very chaotic at some points, and they retreated into themselves to understand that all of the things that they're looking for within them. And having that inner peace allows them to act in the world in a more conscious way. Underneath all the movement here, what they're craving is a calm feeling. The inner peace card is their new non-negotiable. I sense that they want a new relationship with you that has a lot of peace within the relationship. Even though they are fiery, action-oriented, passionate people, no matter how much passion they have in their life, they're still wanting to balance with stillness, balance with divine timing, balance with the energy of peace. There is two fish on this card that shows me that they need that balance of duality, of having that fiery energy with also balancing emotional things, which is a water energy. Let's go ahead and move on. We're getting success, secret spring, and the number 34 at the bottom. 3 plus 4 is 7. If any of those numbers resonate with you, what this is showing me is by going within, by analyzing themselves and all the situations that happened between you two, that they are emerging very successful. Life is starting to reward them for the work they've done. And this is inner work that I'm referring to here. The secret spring card shows me this quiet accumulating of success. All these results that come within their life through their aligned action and faith. They're taking the right actions in their life to change themselves. I'm sensing that during this time apart, they're starting to thrive instead of feeling stuck or in lack or in fear of losing you. I feel this person has BDE, big energy, because they feel they can genuinely get you back and change this, and they are waiting for the right time. I don't feel this person is going to be giving up on you anytime soon, because they see the value in your relationship. This is showing me that this feeds into that manifestation energy. And I think the major manifestation that they're trying to achieve is a relationship with you. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward. We're getting manifest. That's crazy, because I was talking about manifestation. With that being said, they are trying to manifest you back into their life. This is fire related as well. This is a fire card. We're getting a lot of fiery energy. This person has much passion for you. I think I'm repeating messages at this point, but I do sense that what they focus on now grows quickly. Whatever they're trying to change within themselves is manifesting quickly for them, and they want to manifest you back into their lives. The manifest card shows me that they have refined their desires, honed in on what they want, and they even started to release control of how it's going to happen. But they do want to show up bravely for you, because you are what they want. I'm sensing that here. With this combination of inner peace, success, and manifest, it shows me that they have much hope and much trust that this is going to work. It's almost like this foolish trust. I can't explain fully what I'm feeling here, but it's almost like they feel very, very confident about being able to at least get to talk to you again. I'm sensing that they want to speak to you again, show you and tell you all the things that they've changed and learned, because they want to tell you how much potentially you had meant to them and all the things that they've realized after losing you. But I do want to encourage my viewers to not fall for empty words and ask them what they've learned and see if they can prove it to you. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. We're getting the hope card, belief in fulfillment. That's crazy. The 25 here, 2 plus 5 is 7, very spiritual number. I feel like they believe that your connection is very spiritual and that you're very divinely connected. They have a lot of hope in this. They do believe that you guys will be together again. They do believe that you guys are meant to be, in a sense, and they feel like you will have a relationship no matter what on some capacity, whether it takes a long time for you to forgive them or a long time for them to be able to even talk to you again. What they're sensing is they're filled with hope. I don't know if this is a foolish hope, to be honest with you, but I sense that they feel freaking hopeful about this connection, that they want something to move forward between you guys. I sense that if you unblock them, you would be hearing from them like a lightning strike, because they can't avoid the feelings that they feel for you here. I don't think that they have felt this way about anyone else before, even if they've had other relationships. When they went into their reflection period here in the Hermit, they realized that you are their true spark, their true joy, the true match that they have always wanted. You were the person that they want to put all their energy into, even if, like I said, they had other relationships before. They weighed all those relationships against each other and realized there was something that compared to you. That's why they want to move forward into trying again with you. And these other cards that are coming up, I feel like you brought even a lot of success to their life when you were connected. And I'm sensing that when they were connected with you, they had a lot of peace and they fumbled that. And they had to learn to get their own peace from within. And that's why they feel like they can show up as a new person, because they won't be relying on you in that way. And they feel like both of you help each other to be a better person as well. Let's go ahead and move forward. We're getting wolf, instinctual wisdom, wildness. And the number 2 here, the 2 is a harmonious number. This is telling me that they almost have this instinctual wisdom that they're supposed to pursue you, that they don't know how to put the words into it, but they feel they're supposed to be with you. They feel there's a connection there that they cannot deny. And with this wolf card coming up, it's showing me that they're learning to listen to their gut and not the people around them potentially. Maybe the people around them were telling them X, Y, and Z, or they don't like that you guys are on and off, etc. But they need to follow their own instincts. The wolf represents things like instinct, loyalty, and even an inner compass. Their inner compass is pointing towards you, telling them that they don't need a new relationship or somebody else. They want to go towards you, and they're discovering that their body and intuition warn them, guide them, and confirm what is aligned for them. And their body, their intuition is telling them that they want to pursue you and go towards you. And now they're making a choice based off that deep inner knowing that this is a divine relationship, a connection that cannot be forgotten. They have this inner knowing that this relationship is spiritual. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. We're getting Shiva, which is a deity card, and this is the god of destruction and rebirth. That is resonant to this pile here. With this coming up, it shows me that through the destruction of this relationship, they had learned that they need to destroy the old version of themselves and come as a different version of them, because they know that whatever version of them that they had before in this relationship was not feeding the relationship, was not satisfying the relationship, and they want to have a good relationship. They want to come into this relationship with a new version of themselves. With the Shiva card coming up, it feels an entire version of them has died out and a whole new one has been reborn, because the Shiva energy is truly profound. This god talks about breaking limitations imposed by society, ego, and fear. Maybe society shaped their personality before, or their own ego shaped their personality before, or they were acting out of ego, any version of that. But now they are stepping into one true spiritual path where they are allowed to be courageous, they're allowed to be themselves, they're allowed to break from any of those limitations about the earthly goals that they even have. And this god comes up when we're talking about consciousness itself. This person has truly grew in consciousness about themselves, the relationship, the connection, and realized that there is something divine here. And their transformation is not a personal one. It's becoming an offer to you and an example to others. They may even inspire others to become more authentic, destroy any old versions and past beliefs of themselves, and have a new rebirth. I deeply sense that this person went through a lot of introspection in form of this relationship, and you guys may have been connected on and off for a very long time. And what I'm sensing is this person was learning how to balance everything and shed anything that no longer belongs in their life and in this connection. All in all, they learned that after losing you, hiding away and overthinking wouldn't save them, that they had to find that inner peace within and believe in themselves, throwing away any old beliefs and moving towards a life that they want, a life that is authentic to them and being totally reborn. This person's soul lesson was about courageous alignment, being bold and courageous enough to live in alignment to who they were, and through solitude, surrender, and spiritual awakening, being anchored in inner peace and acting bravely when the universe gives them signs. That's all I have for you today, my lovely pile number 4s. If you liked this video, make sure you give me a big like down below and comment down below pile 4 to claim this reading, or tell me what resonated the most with you in this reading. When you interact with a reading, you bring the energy closer to you. Make sure you interact below. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I post new pick a card tarot readings like this one every single week. I hope to see you here again soon. Until next time, bye, pile 4.